We did not have to leave that hospital room in order to enter the second heaven. We entered there in that same room, where my body was, just by passing through a dimension wall. It is a wall which flesh cannot pass through, only spirit. For you the reader, to understand what was happening, you must understand the separation of the spirit from the flesh. To know how this works, we must know how we, ourselves, are made. The Bible states that we, as human beings, are made in the image of God. To understand this, we must know what God is. The Bible states three immutable things about God. First, God is spirit. Second, God is invisible. And third, God is immortal. If we are made in His image, then we are spirit, we are invisible, and we are immortal. Therefore, when we look into a mirror, we do not see our real selves. We see only the body, or earthen vessel, in which we live. Since we are all made in the image of God, we would all be mirror images of one another without our earthly, physical bodies. Therefore, we were given a soul to separate us from one another, to make us an individual. As we moved through that dimension wall, into the second heaven, I found myself in an entirely different world, far different from anything I had ever imagined. This world was a place occupied by spirit beings as vast in number as the sands of the seashore. These beings were demons, devils, or fallen angels, and were in thousands of different shapes and forms. Even those in similar shapes and forms were contrasted by diverse coloring. Many of the demons were in human shapes or forms, and many were in forms similar to animals familiar to our present world. Others were in shapes and forms too hideous to imagine. Some of the forms were so morbid and revolting that I was almost to the point of nausea. My escort informed me that he wanted me to see a demon in the process of actually possessing a human being. At this point in the trip, I was escorted back through the dimension wall separating the second heaven from the physical world. When we came back into this world, we were in the same hospital with my body, but in a different room. The room appeared to be an employee's lounge. I saw tables, chairs, dishes with food, and in the room were a young man and a young lady facing each other while laughing and talking. It was obvious that they could not see, nor the angels, yet I was so close to them I could almost reach out and touch them. I could hear and understand every word they said. They thought they were alone, and, as they laughed and talked, they were unaware of the horrible creature standing between them. This demon was so horrible in the appearance of his shape and form, that I recognized him immediately to be from the lower group, the perverted group. The angels, the demons, and I were in the spirit in that room, and were aware of everything that was happening. Those in the flesh were only aware of themselves, for they could not see or hear us even though we were back in this physical world. Since we were in the spirit, we still communicated with our minds. I was not really paying close attention to the words the two were speaking. My entire attention was focused upon the demon. He was a most horrible-looking thing, reminding me of an overgrown, stuffed, slimy, green frog all out of shape and proportion. He moved slowly up into the face of the man, then, suddenly, like a puff of smoke, he seemed to disappear into the face of the man just as if he went through the pores of his skin. When the demon had entered the man, the angel said, "Now it's done." The angel then proceeded to tell me how it was that this man was possessed. He stated, the demon made himself desirable and attractive to the human. The angel then pointed out to me that mankind has a sovereign will, all his own, beyond which the demons cannot come. He also pointed out to me that the angels could not come beyond that sovereign will of man. God, Himself, will not violate that will. We are made in the image of God, therefore, we were given, like God, a sovereign will, the right to choose our destiny. According to what the angels told me, over 90% of all cases of demon activity in human beings is restricted to those humans who are at or over the age of accountability. During the course of this talk the angel was giving me, he pointed out that all of God's children have been given power over all demons and can cast them out.